Okay, let's move on and let's welcome on board Indrajit Mookerjee, Vice Chairman and ED at Texmaco Rail and Engineering, joining in on the show right now. Mr. Mookerjee, good to have you on the show. Just analyzing how the past fiscal was, and it saw muted wagon ordering from Indian Railways. And that's really led to your wagon order book falling as well. Tell me, how much of wagon procurement are you expecting from Indian Railways now in this fiscal, in FY26?
Well, I think I have to give you a scientifically speculative answer because it's very difficult to say what's going to be coming in. But if you look at the macro scenario, and I would divert attention to the railway budget, which was published this year, which says that the freight loading is going to go up by something like 5.2% from the last year. Now, assuming that the congestion level will remain the same, it is it's not a big brainer that there should be more orders flowing in from Indian Railway. Similar things are going to be happening for the private players because there are lots of movements of commodities are taking place, and these are very directly linked with the GDP growth. One point that I would like to state here is that the FY25 order that came in from railways, I don't think is the right indicator because that's a time when all manufacturers had overhanging orders. The orders were required to be completed of the bulk order that came to everyone in 2022. So in any case, that wouldn't have mattered very much. So answering your question, looks like the market is going to pick up towards the second half of this financial year. But again, it's a scientifically speculative guess.
Numbers to that, Mr. Mukherjee? How many wagons are you looking to dispatch or at least targeting for this fiscal?
This fiscal, we will do the same numbers, if not more. Maybe because we have the overhanging order book, which we have to, in any case, complete. So I would tell you that I would say that we did about 10,600 around that numbers of wagon in FY25. And if not the same, we may go up by a few percentage. But I don't expect a phenomenal jump in the numbers.
Uh, Railway business is perhaps can be articulated in a very simple manner. One buyer and too many vendors, which means there is one buyer and there is chances of intense competitive landscape. Is that a fair assessment that while the buyer is big and the buyer will continue to give orders, the competitive landscape is getting tougher?
No, I think this is true for any industry. But you're very right that the bulk of the orders go to railways. So the suppliers to the railways obviously is going to be one buyer, and it's not multiple buyers like in many other industries, particularly in the retail or anywhere else. However, the good news is that there are also private buyers who may not be large in numbers, maybe doing about 25-30% of the total purchases. And, and I think those buyers are getting more and more encouraged to come to the market. And also, I don't think we should keep in mind that some of these buyers also buy on lease. And I'm sure because you know that we have an leasing company. And we also do lease. We have a leasing company with a joint venture with a very large French company called Trois, and that's also is going to be quite a strong driver for us for the private wagons.
Okay. Uh, Vande Bharat, in a sense, has been the turning point for most of the wagon companies in India. How is progress moving on that front? Because when we look at the headlines, when we look at government commitments towards Vande Bharat, they are in this strong phase of modernization. Can I put it simple that the golden goose for Texmaco is Vande Bharat and the business coming from there?
It definitely is. We already are in the adjacencies of Vande Bharat. Some people may be making Vande Bharat trains, but we are doing a lot of components for the Vande Bharat. One of the companies I would like to mention is a company that we acquired in operating out of Baroda, which is a part of a large European company. It's called Syra Asia, and they do supply the interiors not only for Vande Bharat but also the metro coaches and so many others. So we are moving into the Vande Bharat, but we trade our path very carefully. Because I think one of the things that we do in our growth strategy is to ensure that we move carefully, but we remain steady and for the long run, and we try to avoid as much a risk as possible. However, this is our focus area for the future.
All right, Mr. Mukherjee, the other issue was the inadequate availability of wheel sets from Indian Railways that did affect the wagon dispatches and revenue, especially in the second half of FY25, and you have been affected too. Are you witnessing any improvement in that situation, or are you back to any normal levels? Give us some sense there.
I think I would say that you're right to some extent because there is always a hand to mouth situation for the wheel sets. And it's been happening on and off for the past few years. And it's getting more and more intense as the number of wagons being produced are increasing. I would see that there could be some little problem, but I also believe that the productions of wheel sets from the railway factory, which is a rail wheel factory in Bangalore, is steadily going up. There are also imports of Chinese wheel sets which are flowing in. So, barring no unforeseen circumstances, this situation should improve from the second half of the financial year.
Right, and along with that, Mr. Mukherjee, for the railway sectors in the times ahead, there actually lies a huge opportunity in terms of coverage system as well, as Indian Railway plans to deploy around 44,000 of kilometers in the next 5 years within this network. Give us some sense that how is Texmaco planning to be a part of this, as well as any infrastructure building that you are focusing on?
This is one of our main focus area. We would like to be in that area. And also, I must tell you that we have the rail infra business, which can be also a major vehicle for selling the coverage through the project. So we have that already with us. We are very few companies with credentials to do that, which railways approved. So it's a very, very strong focus area for us. And hopefully, we should be able to come out and talk to you in future about our exact and very specific plan on coverage. But I must tell you that this is our focus area now.
Really appreciate your time. So glad you could join us with your valuable inputs. Meanwhile, if